what do you see most growth from a guy like Emilio, who obviously has a lot more opportunities here this year?
Yeah, that's the one thing is the opportunities. He's gotten, it's probably close to 400, 500 reps, in this camp, which, again, you can always kind of get it from the film and watch it, but when you're out there getting reps, it just helps you. And that's where his growth has come with all those reps. He just gets better and better as more reps he gets.
What do you see as the next step for him?
I think, again, with a young guy, it's always just the things that doesn't happen all the time. So they may have a play, and they may run a play, I may see that play, but then there's a play after another play. He just needs to see it and then just be able to recognize. And again, that just comes with more reps of getting it to understand that it's not just what you just study on film. You just got to understand the concept, and you'll get it'll all play out how it needs to.
How do you want to handle that position between Emilio and Keanu? Like, is it just as a true rotation, or how do you want to kind of play that boundary spot?
Yeah, as of right now, it'll be a rotation. I think both of those guys have, had a good camp and played well enough that both of them deserve to play. Haven't really, thought about it on the percentage of it, but both of those guys will play for us.
Isaiah got a lot of reps with the top group yesterday.
Yeah.
How do you decide how to use him given his situation? Do you feel like if you use him, is that taking away opportunities from somebody who might be available in week one? What kind of talks do you do?
Yeah, the number of reps that we're getting, it all equals out the same. It's just getting more younger guys. I'm getting more younger guys reps than, I don't need to see Rico play a bunch of reps. He's played a lot of football for us, so it just allows those younger guys. Now I get Cairo, now I get, Jameer Scott, a lot more reps. So kind of with it, the way I do it, it all kind of equals out with the same amount of reps for the guys. Actually, the younger guys are getting more reps than the older guys.
You mentioned Cairo, and he's obviously putting more reps because of with Rico sitting out right now. Just what have you seen from him in terms of stepping up to that challenge and playing as physical as he needs to?
I think he's super smart. For a young kid to come in and just, he picks up on things very, very fast as far as the concepts of the defense. He still gets himself in trouble with his eye control, and that's what happens a lot of times with young guys is with their eye control. But it happens to him once, and he learns from it. It doesn't happen to him again. So very, very pleased with just how mature, he is as far as, learning, knowing that he's going to make mistakes, but he corrects the mistakes very, very well. He can run. He's big. He's, 186, 187 pounds as a freshman, and super smart. So again, sky's the limit for him. I think, we'll see him on some special teams and maybe see him down the road out there on the field.
How about the other two freshmen with Jameer and
Jamari? Yeah, we got a lot of the same names. It's hard for us in practice, but Jameer Scott again. We kind of recruited him as a safety, and then we moved him to corner, so he's so athletic. Him and Cairo, the two that came early, know the system a little bit better than Jamari. The crazy thing about Jamari is he just finds the ball. He may not be right, and he does the same technique every single play, but he's got a lot of interceptions and he can find the ball. So, again, you like those guys. They're all tall, they're all long, they're all rangy, they're all athletic. So that's what you like about them. And plus, Jamari just finds the ball. He may not be right, but he finds the ball and he catches the ball. So he's got good ball skills.
Two freshman corners tend to struggle tackling at this level, at least early, until their body really develops.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do in fall camp to help prepare these guys for what they're going to see in the Big Ten, even though, like I said, their bodies might not be ready for that?
Yeah, there's you guys can't see. You see that number 7 right there? With that 7 on it, hitting that thing over and over again. That doesn't move unless you sit there and you get low and you keep your eyes up. You hit that thing 1,000 times. Because again, a lot of young people, a lot of people sit there and they duck their head because they can get away with that. So those are the things that we spend a lot of time on that thing just to make sure that they know the physicality of it. But those guys have gotten a lot of reps in being able to hit our backs, and we thud up a bunch. We don't sit there and tag off. So they kind of got a feel for it. You never know once the lights come on. But again, what they have shown so far is they've hit that thing a bunch and hitting our guys a bunch, and they're not afraid to. They just got to make sure that they execute it.
That seems to be a strength of Gianni's in particular. He seems to like to get in on the big hits. Like, is that something that, as a corner, that is rare in your experience?
I wouldn't say so as of lately. I mean, everybody talked about in the old days it was just cover corners, and so there's no such thing as cover corners anymore. Just because, especially in this league, they're going to find you, and they're going to make you tackle. And my umpteen amount of years in the Big Ten, you've always had to have corners that tackle, because they were going to make you tackle, and you got to be good tacklers. So, not a surprise. But I do like it. I do like his physicality, and I do like the rest of the guys' physicality, because you see one guy doing it in the room, and everybody tries to do it, and try to match up to that standard, which we're going to need it. We didn't tackle as well last year, especially on the crack replaces that we needed to, and we got a ton of it in this camp. So hopefully, though, there will be improvement.
Follow up on Isaiah, is part of the calculus in using him to keep him ready just in case at a certain point in the season?
Always, always. Just again, it's almost treated like an injury, but just always getting reps just to get him, keep him engaged and keep him ready. But the kid has been awesome. He goes down on scout team also too. Just love the kid.
So with Latimer, I know he's been in the slot, but has there been any thoughts of, just in case something happens, where he could go outside at all?
When he first got here, he practiced that corner, a bunch. Not right now, just because that nickel spot is so important for us. Down the road, he's got some reps in the bank. But it'd probably take a couple more injuries for us to move him.
Given Rico's experience, what he's put on tape here the last couple of years, would you expect quarterbacks to want to challenge the other side? And is that a conversation you've had with Dione or Emilio about what they can face this season?
Yeah, I don't know if they will attack the other side, just because I'm sure Rico, 2 years ago, he had a great year. Last year wasn't the year that he wanted, and he still got challenged. I don't know if they're going to go away from him, but usually that boundary side anyway gets a lot more work and a lot more action at him. So those guys got to be prepared for the ball to come their way. They got to be prepared to tackle. And things like that. So it's just the nature of that boundary corner position, not necessarily Rico, not taking anything away from Rico, but just naturally with that boundary position, they're going to get more action anyway.
You mentioned he didn't have the year that he wanted last year. What did you talk to him about once he made that decision to come back, other than physically getting stronger?
Yeah, and he did that, and I think that was a big part of his tackling. Again, I told you guys before, is one of the guys, Jamar Fletcher, that talked to him. And Jamar is a small guy, of stature, but he was just like, man, you gotta, as a small dude, you gotta be able to tackle. If you want to go to the next level, you gotta be physical, you gotta be tackling. So that was the one thing that we challenged Rico on, change his body, which he did. And you can see him being more physical in this camp, tackling, block destruction. But those are the little things. He knows the defense back, and he can do it in his sleep. Now it's really about fine-tuning the break foot, drive foot, your eye control, your pad level, like little things. And those are the things that I challenge on every day.
You're mentioning Emilio getting reps. Kind of what did you see from him last year when he wasn't necessarily getting those opportunities to kind of be ready for this opportunity this year?
Yeah, I think again just the physicality of the game. He's now 180, a little bit over 180 pounds. Before he was just teetering around that 170. It's just hard to sit there and do it at this level. So it just takes a little bit of changing their body, getting with Coach Brady, getting with the weight room, getting with Sophie and Eaton, and now he's consistently over 180 pounds. Now you can handle the physicality of this league.